Welcome, everyone, to the In a Slice podcast. My name is Tyler,
I'm NATO. I'm Will.
and where we talk about nonsense and mostly video games. Today is September 25th. So, guys, what have you guys been up to lately?
I'm going to talk about right now how we're recording this podcast with the microphone set on a chair, and we don't have a mic or a mouse on our computer. Will?
Look, I woke up and packed all this junk up and rolled out of bed, and I forgot things. Okay.
I was playing Destiny.
I was getting a nice banh mi sandwich.
And I was doing all the work like usual.
And I was playing Destiny because it's reset day on Tuesday.
It is. I wanted to play Destiny, but I wasn't allowed to because I wasn't woken up on time.
Yeah, but the grind is real, so gotta keep on doing it.
Yeah.
But you don't play Destiny, obviously.
Destiny 1 killed any chance of Destiny 2 for me.
This new DLC is actually kind of fun because every week they're changing the public space a little bit and building up this story and stuff like that, making it kind of interesting. I really want to play the raid, but the grind to get to the level to play the raid
Is real. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, I've been playing every day for at least 2 to 4 hours, and I'm still not there.
Yeah,
And
since the DLC dropped, we've been playing it.
God, it's miserable. But aside from that,
But that's the fun part of the game, honestly.
yeah,
It doesn't actually bother me.
God, all you getting? What's that grenade launcher?
Do you want some Edge Transit? Or how about some Edge Transit? Or how about would you like an Edge Transit?
My favorite gun is the Edge Transit.
Is that like Gallahorn?
Because it's the
No.
best gun in the game. It's the Edge Transit because it's the only gun you get in the game because it's the Edge Transit. Because all the things that ever drop is only the Edge Transit.
What about if you get a legendary?
It's an Edge Transit.
Basically. And that's everyone in Destiny right now complaining about.
The Edge Transit.
But I'm also happy that the exotics are very few.
Are rare now, I know. Because Destiny 2 started and it was like, here's an exotic. Here, have another exotic. Here's have some exotic gear. And it's like, so you're telling me exotic's not the rarest gear anymore?
Well, by the time we finished the beginning of the game, I would say we had about, what, four
They
4 or 5 exotics.
handed us 2 exotics during the opening mission, pretty much.
Yeah, they just hand you exotics like it's freaking candy, and it bothered me, and it didn't make it feel special every time you got it. You're like, oh, I got an exotic. Nothing crazy about it. But now it's like, you get an exotic, I'm like, ooh, awesome. Even though it's, I got most of them at this point, but it's actually made it exciting, and now I'm just grinding out the quests for
The
exotics.
level.
Gotta get that light level up.
So on my way over to NATO's house today, I had an interesting experience at the gas station. I had to stop to get some gas because I've been running on empty all day yesterday, as you do, and start pumping gas. I've got an old piece of junk car that leaks oil, so I pop the hood, check my oil, needs oil, get oil in my trunk, yada yada. Topping it off, walk back around to see that the pump had finished. But I noticed that the number on the pump, the gas and the gallons are still climbing, and then I look back and the handle is released, so it's not pumping gas. I pull the nozzle out of my gas tank, look up at the thing again, the numbers are still climbing. I'm holding the nozzle, no gas is coming out of it, the numbers are still climbing. So I have Tyler here, who is in the car with me, hold the nozzle while I go in the store and go up to the attendant. He goes, oh, hey, how can I help you today? And I'm like, so I've got an interesting problem. He goes, I like fixing problems.
He really said
He
that?
actually said that. He said, I bet I can fix your problem. And I'm like, so I'm on pump number 1 over there. And he looks out and sees my piece of junk car sitting right at pump number 1.
As I'm just standing there holding the pump looking like an idiot, I have about 6 other people just staring at me because they want to pump their gas, and I'm just standing there, holding it.
To put that in perspective, it's the cheapest gas station in town.
I feel comfortable letting everyone know that it is an Arco AMPM.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the cheapest gas station in town, and so as such, it was the busiest gas station in town at lunchtime. And so the guy tells me he likes to fix problems. I tell him, so I was sitting there pumping gas, and
As you do.
it popped, but I was I was topping off my oil, and so I shut my hood, went around, and had finished pumping gas a while beforehand, and the number on the pump is still climbing as it's not pumping gas. And he just, in a really animated manner goes, oh no! And starts, freaking out for me when I'm not freaking out at all.
I like that he started the conversation with "I like fixing problems," and then once a problem was set in his lap, his response was "Oh no,
Oh no!"
He was not ready for this problem.
He's like, so wait. You're telling me like, do you? So what happened? I'm like, so I noticed the numbers on the pump were still climbing, even though the handle had released. I pulled the pump out of my car. It's not pouring gas out. It's just the numbers are still climbing. And he's like, is it still doing it now? I'm like, yes, it is still climbing right now. And he's like, don't tell me you paid with a debit card. Of course I paid with a debit card.
It's 2018, everyone pays
he
with a
would have
debit card.
seen you already if you paid with cash. You would have had to go in."
I know, right? So he's like, oh no, I'm going to shut the pump down. So he emergency shuts down the pump. And then he like, well, how much gas did it pump? And I'm like, I don't know. I assume I have a full tank because it was pumping gas and then popped the handle like it normally does. And he's like, well, okay, so the last transaction that's showing that pump is $26. And I'm like, well, it's not that because I needed like, when I was on empty. It was probably like 11 or 12 gallons I needed. That should be like $40. And he's like, well, it only shows $26. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. He runs back to see his manager. And I text Tyler that you may as well hang up the pump handle. Like I had told him to keep holding it in case we needed to prove that this was happening. And the guy had already shut the pump off. So I text Tyler, tell him, no, you hang up the pump. I wait around for 5 minutes. Manager comes back out and is like, yeah, give me your phone number and name, and the area manager will call you tomorrow and look at the cameras. And then that was the whole story. It ended very anticlimactically.
I want that camera feed just to see Tyler standing out there with the pump
I was just
and
holding,
like shrugging at people, like go around me.
I was just holding the pump out of the car, and like I look towards the store to see what's going on. And all I can see is Will's fluffy hair just like over the counter right there. Then I look at the 3 people that are in line. They're just like kind of gesturing at me like, "What's going on?" And I just kind of shrug and waved at them. And then I just went back to my phone, like trying to be as awkward as I can. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I need an adult. And then they all just very aggressively drive around and park in front of the pump behind us and slam their doors and stomp off. And I'm just sitting here like, help. What do you do?
It's very interesting to me that people always assume that everyone else is an idiot instead of assuming that there's something going on. It's something we do as a species. It's like, that person must be an idiot, not, oh, well, they have something going on that's causing this.
At least half the time I feel like it's because they're being an idiot, though.
Who knows? I wish I knew. But anyway, so that was my very interesting gas pump experience today. It only overcharged me like $5 or so because it was counting up pretty slowly.
Hopefully it gets fixed and it's not a nightmare.
I mean, while I was leaving, they put an out of order sign on it, and well, we'll see what happens. If they want to stiff me for $5, like really?
You can't even take them to small claims court.
No, right?
Can't get Judge Judy on this case. She's still around, right?
I don't know. I never watched Judge Judy. She seemed like a reality TV show. Horrible thing. Got nothing else to say about that.
Well, instead of getting into that,
Did he just call Judge Judy a bitch?
staying out of this one. But also, since we're talking about cars and everything, so Forza's coming out here in a few days, correct?
Yes, and I'm very excited.
I mean, you dropped how much for it? You got this super fancy deluxe.
Of course I did.
Sucking their dick edition?
Yes, I did. I know. I hate that I do it, but I do it because I can't help it. I buy the Ultimate Edition. I'm part of the problem. I buy the $100 edition where you get it a week early and you get all the DLC drops for the first year or whatever.
I saw that they're doing James Bond cars now, and kind of funny because they're in Britain and James Bond is obviously
Right. Well, I mean that's the point.
Yeah, I know. But I was just like, I'm like, they did the thing because they're playing off where they're at.
Yeah.
But I can't play that game if my life depended on it. I can't shift. Even though it does shift for you, I still can't do driving games. The last driving game I played was Need for Speed, I think Hot Pursuit. I think the first one.
So like PlayStation 2?
Yeah,
era?
PlayStation 2, maybe, something like that.
I like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. That one was
I can't remember. All I know. Then they also released Burnout Paradise, which I also played a lot.
Yeah, that was great. I'm sad that I haven't played it as much as I should. I put 4 or 5 hours into the re-release of it.
It's weird how we do that with old games that we kind of have on a pedestal, and then we re-buy them, and I have it, but I've already played it millions of times.
It's that nostalgia factor. That's why you want to do it.
It is. It just like Crash Bandicoot came out, and I played the first Crash Bandicoot, the Crash Bandicoot collection that we released. I'd never played the first Crash Bandicoot, so I played that all the way through, and I had already played the second and third ones, and I still haven't gotten around to playing them on the remastered edition yet, because it's just like, I don't really want to do that today.
Well, just like Spyro, also when that comes out here soon, I played the first one. I didn't play any of the other ones, so I'm gonna be very bored playing the first one. I feel like
I'm going to be super excited because I only ever got to play demos. So I had the demo for the first three Spyro games. I had the demos for them and never got to get them as a kid, so I'll be very excited to actually play them. So I played the first level on each of those games like a million times.
I had what was it when back in the day? I'm pretty sure you guys know. Have you guys heard of the game Dino Crisis?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so it's basically Resident Evil but with dinosaurs, and it was my favorite game because growing up I was super into like I grew up. Barney was my thing. Jurassic Park was my thing. I mean, I had dinosaur.
One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah. So basically, they had that, and oh god.
Can somebody make "I Love You" and switch it to the theme of na 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 na
podcast now.
That was really cringy.
I don't care.
But so more or less back on topic, you guys. That game, I played the hell out of the game, and when I got the first one, it came with a demo for Resident Evil 3. And like that.
Okay.
And I played. It was just basically the beginning of the game all the way into, I think, until you get to the police station. And after that, it just cut off, if I recall correctly. And I played that mission, that demo like 100 times and everything like that, because I had the second Resident Evil game, but my parents realized how gory and messed up it was, so they wouldn't let me get the third one. So all I did was I snuck the demo, I hid it in my room, and when they late at night when everyone went to bed, I would just play the Resident Evil demo over and over and over again until finally, parents thought, maybe being 16, you can actually play something that's not Kingdom Hearts. Because it's good.
My parents wouldn't let me do violent video games. Like they were upset at Ratchet and Clank, which is a very cartoony style game.
I mean, all the titles are dick jokes.
It's true. They kind of are.
Is that right?
Well,
Yeah,
so it's
think about
Ratchet
it.
and Clank Going Commando.
Okay.
Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal.
Okay.
I
And
can see
then
the gears turning in your head right now.
is that might be one of them was supposed to be titled Into the Nether Regions, but then they changed it to
Into the Nether? Isn't it just
Into the Nether or something like that? They took regions out of it because they're like, it's just too close to actually being what we're doing. A Crack in Time doesn't really sound like one to me.
I mean, crack, butt crack, haha.
Tools of Destruction, not really.
Dildos.
It's really just the original series.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting.
You learned something new today?
Kids games.
Yeah.
Bowserette or whatever.
Oh, God. I've been seeing that plaguing the internet, and I don't know what's going on. I just scroll past it as fast as
I
I
don't
can.
I'm
understand.
very scared.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either. Reddit is sad for me right now because I'll scroll past I subscribe to the cosplaying pages, and that's all it is right now is Bowser. It's just girls in bikinis with Bowser horns, and that's it. It's dumb. I'm all for girls in bikinis though. So
Just don't pretend to be Bowser.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. So I'm going to start this topic by saying the three of us all work in a restaurant, and every 3 years we have to recertify for ServSafe. And it might be the most bullshit thing I've ever spent 3 hours on in my life.
Let me add there that since we're talking to the internet, we're in California. We're required. ServSafe is a California required.
Oh, is that right?
It is.
Oh, shows how
well,
much I
not
know.
serve safe, but a food handler's card.
Yes. ServSafe is just the company that does the food handlers cards. So if you work in the food industry, you have to be certified that you know stupid things like not to stick your finger in your customer's soup.
Yeah, like, oh,
Finger soup.
if you have a Band-Aid on and it goes in the food, that's bad.
Yeah, so it's like it's designed for
Common knowledge.
really, really, really stupid people. Unfortunately, there are some of those people in the food service, so
We work with some.
yeah, we do.
I mean, nobody. What?
What? No, hopefully no one we work with ever hears this.
Okay, so let me say, I dragged my ass a little bit. I knew a week in advance that I had to renew this certification.
A week in advance?
Well-
I've been bugging you for a month. I
Okay,
get an email every day about it saying, hey, blah, blah, blah needs their server safe updated by this day. I got so many emails. And I texted you every single time I got that email, and you're like, yep. And then here we go. You turned it out on the day it was due.
Okay, so 2 days before it was due, I had to go to work at 5. I started it at 3 thinking, oh, this shouldn't be too bad. The guy, this guy, this guy in this pudgy guy in this green V-neck, I don't know who's doing, I'm going to get a little loud. It's okay. I don't know who did wardrobe for ServSafe, but why they gave this guy a V-neck and did not cover up his arm tattoo. But like he's got a visible tattoo, and he's just like, "Hey, how's it going? You need to be certified for food."
Didn't they make a bad Top Gun
Yes.
reference?
Okay. So for people that work in the food industry, there's like a certain area that food can't be, otherwise pathogens will invade it and make it bad to eat.
Certain area?
Yeah, like
The food danger zone.
the
Oh, you're talking about temperatures.
yes, temperatures.
You said an area.
I don't know what I'm
certainly
talking
they
about.
cannot be within this square foot of the restaurant.
Well, there's also that.
But that sounds like you need to take this test all over again.
Fired up. Between 41 degrees and like 135 or whatever it is, I don't know. I got the question right. It doesn't matter. It's called the food danger zone. And this asshole told me to fire up that Top Gun music because it's time to explore the food danger zone.
Oh no.
That's where you just facepalm. Just,
I wasted 2 hours clicking through. You can't even click through slides, but occasionally it will ask you a question, and you have to click on the question so that it can ask you another question so that you can answer that question. And whether you answer it yes or no, it does not matter. It's going to tell you the same information after that question anyway. What are we doing?
So the problem is that you've got it's like a 16 question test, right?
No, it's a 40 question.
Oh, it's a 40 question test. Okay, well, 2.5 years ago it was like a 16 question test when I took it, and each question had like a full 10-minute video on it. And you can't skip the video. It's an obvious question like, if food touches the ground, you have to throw it away. And then they spend 10 minutes explaining to you why you have to throw it away.
See, mine was awesome because I'm a manager at this.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh la la.
I know. So it was paid by the company, and I get to sit in a little room with a bunch of other managers that have been in the company for, like me. I was the youngest manager there, and I was already at my 5 years. And, people are there that have been there for like 15, 20 years and everything like that. And they're just like, we have an instructor there, and you're like, oh yeah, you gotta, and every little detail about everything. We're like, we all know this and everything. We got there at 10 o'clock in the morning. We walked out of that room at 7 o'clock at night. It took them that long to do a in-depth teaching plus doing another. I think we had like 100 questions or something like that for ours because it's a manager. So
Right, the manager one has a lot more information on it. That's actually probably pertinent information that some people don't know.
All of it was stuff I knew when I went to college and did my ServSafe about 10 years ago.
Right. And so now I remember when I took my food handler's course 2.5 years ago, so I'm going to renew soon too. I'm not excited. But I remember the only thing I learned from it was that food had to be stored exactly a minimum of 6 inches off the ground.
So that's not just
So
food.
just
That's
drop your
like,
pants and find out.
that's
Well, everything that needs to be food safe.
that's like everything though in any warehouse anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Nothing's allowed to touch the ground.
No.
Like I worked in a warehouse for Dish for a little while, and you have to keep the receiver 6 inches off the ground.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's like nothing
Well,
is
if
allowed to touch the
water,
ground.
and if water floods or anything like that, I'm assuming that 6 inches has to be.
Well,
It's,
yeah.
it's a good zone for something that doesn't damage it. Might as well. I think everyone got together like, let's go for 6 inches.
Right, but the 6
If someone
inches
had a
for
small
food
dick.
is like a legal standard because that's sort of like it's saying, well, people's feet are down there essentially. I knew things had to be kept off the ground. I didn't know it was exactly 6 inches. That's the only thing I learned from the serve safe. That was my point in that. Is the only thing I
I just like to point out that I beat my head against the wall for 2 hours and I still made 100 on the test. It was. Can we just take, if somebody's already been certified for a food handler's card, can we just maybe skip to the test?
and retake the test.
And maybe
yeah.
if you fail the test, you have to sit through the 2 hours of bullshit?
that would be a good. That sounds like a good medium.
Oh, yeah, that sounds great. Let's make everyone sit 2 hours and waste their time. I didn't get paid for that.
I know we actually had to pay for it, right?
Yeah, $15
To sit there.
to sit there and listen to some failed comedian crack jokes.
I got paid for it because I was on the clock for it
Yeah,
because I
you
was the
suck.
manager.
I'm gonna do it at work. I'm gonna do it at work next time.
But anyways, anything else? Like you had something about going on, something that happened Sunday or something like that a few days ago.
Oh, you were there for that.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. I was back hitting my head against the wall because we were falling apart because we ran out of everything.
Yes.
I missed all the fun.
What
I
are we
just dealt
talking
with.
about?
We're talking about specifically Sunday at work. And
It's not my problem.
more
Yeah,
specifically, the customer who was upset that her food was late to her, but was not mad about it, I would say.
Right. So actually, I was up in the front of the store.
So hold on. Let's stop there. Let's give them. Yeah, people don't know what we're talking about here. So what we do, we work obviously in a pizza place and everything like that. It's
I don't
Sunday
know how
night
it's
football.
obviously. Anyway, go ahead.
Because in a slice podcast. Come on, let's be honest here. All right, we're really bad at jokes and puns.
You're
So it's Sunday night football. We were very short staffed that day because we're transitioning into Sunday night, and we were not enough people. We were falling apart.
Doesn't matter. We didn't have enough people.
Yeah,
We weren't falling apart. We were just behind on orders because we had so many people ordering. We didn't have enough crew to keep up with it.
because football.
Yes, because football.
So
So you, as management, you were making us you were prepping dough to make pizzas, essentially.
also, who cuts up cucumbers instead of zucchini?
Look, man, they look like zucchinis when I cut them up, okay? I didn't know they were cucumbers.
I don't think that would go good on a pizza, but good thing you realized it after.
Look,
I didn't realize
I've had
this.
someone request cucumbers on a pizza one time.
Oh, there's something wrong with
That
that.
was the
person.
same person who requested sunflower seeds on a pizza.
Well, that person just
And
got dropped on
pepperoncinis.
that person got dropped on their head or something. So
What
it sucks
about
for them.
broccoli?
Oh my god, that
I've had that too.
smells
I've had that too. It smells awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Broccoli running through a convection oven is maybe the worst smell in the world.
And
It's
it's-
worse than the anchovies running through.
And it stays the smell lingers for hours, and I feel bad for the delivery driver that has to deal with that.
Ugh. I
But
didn't
anyways,
do
back on topic about a
Oh,
customer
so-
was upset for waiting too
Right.
long for her food.
So essentially, someone forgot one part of her order, so it took even longer than our extended wait. And yeah, this is a problem. We understand someone being upset about their food being late. That makes sense.
We're all management here. So we know how to deal with customers and not our regular crew that does some 18 or 16-year-old that's never had a job in their life. They don't know how to properly handle a situation like that.
Right. So this customer says to our cash register person, "Hey, this took way too long. I've got a 2-year-old. I'm not happy about how long this took, and I'm near the front of the store and I hear this happening, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish up what I'm doing right now and then go handle this." And so they keep going, and the cash register person's like, "I'm sorry, we're just really busy," which is exactly what everyone expects someone to say, of course. But this lady was actually somewhat upset about having to wait 45 minutes for some food with a 2-year-old who was also hungry.
All she got was a small pizza and wings, too. It wasn't that crazy of an order. It
Right.
wasn't that complicated either.
No, it's just, it got messed up. We made a mistake. It makes sense. It's easy. But anyway, so then the register person takes this as an insult, I guess, as a personal attack, and she says, "Well, it's not my fault your food is late."
That's not what she said. She said it in a more passive aggressive. Well, that's not really my fault.
You're correct. It is more how she said it. I'm upset about this. And that made the lady who was already somewhat upset actually angry. She was now not happy at all. She immediately, the look came over her face like, what the fuck you just say to me, bitch?
Okay, can we pause right here real quick? I would like to tell my point of view, because my point of view ends right after this, because I ran away laughing. But, so I hear her say that's not really my fault, and I kind of like look at her, and then I look at the customer, and I see the customer's eyes are like bugging out of her skull. And I grabbed a delivery bag, and I ran away laughing, going, "You can't say that!"
And so at that point, I'm like, oh no, I should have stepped in a lot sooner. I didn't expect some cash register girl who's like 18 or 16 or whatever to say that to a customer. Like, the customer doesn't care who we are. The customer sees us as an entity with the restaurant we're working in, as part of that entity. So we have to we gotta suck it up and, take it. It's how food
Just
service
bend over,
works.
take a deep breath, and just take it hard.
Yeah, exactly. That's how food service works, and it's unfortunate, and I hate it. But so I'm like stunned at this point that they've said that, and like, okay, it's no, it's not okay. But she the next thing she says is like, well, I don't care if it's your fault. Can I speak to a manager? And so this lady who's upset asked for a manager, and our cash register person, I guess, took that as a personal insult as well, and just says, well, just because your food is late, you don't get to be rude to me.
I just...
So they're explaining their sides, and I just want to tell you where I am. As being that I was the in-house manager of that night, we ran out of skins. I was in the back of the store, head to toe in flour, because I was rolling out our skins because we ran out mid-rush, and it was just bad. So I missed all of this. All I hear from the back of the store is a faint, "Just go get Tyler." And
Which
the
was
moment
me. I heard that, and I see that the lady and... Damn it.
Anyways.
We have to edit that out.
And beep.
So I see that the lady and our cash register girl are about to keep going at it, and I just go... I can't not say her name.
How did you do it twice?
I don't know. I go,
Because you're
person, you need to just stop and go get Tyler. And the lady who's upset and our employee both just look at me, and she goes to the back of the store, gets Tyler up there, and it's resolved rather easily. Tyler's just like, I'm sorry.
I know how to handle a customer. I can diffuse a situation pretty easily.
Right. And the funny thing is there was no situation to begin with. This employee just made a situation.
So add a little bit extra to that and everything like that is that I'm back and I'm trying to roll out as much as I can for a large order because someone puts in an online order. I want 4 extra larges, adds 2 more extra larges. I'll be there in 20 minutes, and we're like, uh-oh. And that's why I was rolling out, because I was trying to make a large order. So I'm like, so all I hear is go get Tyler. I'm like, all right, something's going on. And I'm in the middle of cutting these out. The employee comes in, says, hey, I need to come up front. I'm like, okay, I'll be there in just a second. Then I hear Will runs into the dough room. He's like, no, Tyler, stop what you're doing. I got this. Get up there right now. So I'm like, okay, so something's actually bad. All I did was apologize. I gave her money back. I gave her the food that was there, and I just explained to her that that's not how we're supposed to operate. And that's about the extent of it. It was a very quick, easy defusal. I don't know how it got to that point.
Well, I told you how it got to that point.
It's just,
I don't
understand.
That conversation that sounds like... it took us forever to explain that conversation. That conversation took about 10 seconds that they had. It was very short.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It took me less than that to fix
fantastic.
that. Oh my god. Some people should not be in the food service industry.
No, some people should not be in the customer service industry.
Yeah, customer service, I guess not food service. Even retail is just as bad. But
right.
I don't think that person shouldn't be.
And there are bad customers, and so I've told bad customers, no, this is not my problem. You are freaking out. I don't say it in those words, but I tell some people that no, this is not okay. You don't get to talk to me like that. But that's a customer who's pretty much at the point of yelling and screaming at me. And usually at that point they stop, or if they don't stop, it's like, I'm not going to talk to them. They can talk to me when they calm down. That's fine. It makes sense, but not when a customer's just like, I'm not happy because this took too long.
But I think that's kind of the end of that story,
It
honestly.
is. It
We don't
really
need to
is.
delve too much more into it. And
I have another short work story that I find hilarious also. A drunk man with a giant husky came in on Saturday, and he orders a beer, and he goes and sits down with his dog. I guess while he was ordering his beer, the dog jumped up on the counter to say hi.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yes.
Okay. So he goes, he sits down, he orders, he's drinking his beer. 20 minutes later.
Oh, well, I should interject. Of course, whoever was in charge of the restaurant that day did go to ask him, is that a service animal? He said yes. And that's all we're allowed to do. We're not allowed to, have him prove it. And we can all tell it's not a service animal, so he's drunk and lying. Anyways, continue.
So 20 minutes later, he comes up. Tyler here is at the front of the store. I think I'm at the front of the store too. And he comes up to Tyler and he says,
so I just clocked off. I was just waiting on some food to take home and everything like that. And I can just tell by body language when someone's walking up to the counter, I knew something was wrong. So immediately I'm like, all right, I'm going to be the one to deal with this even though I'm off the clock. Because, I'm not going to leave it to anyone else. I'm not going to be like, bye guys, and leave them out for it. So since I was the one who dealt with it, I'll explain the remainder of this. So
Okay.
he comes walking up and with his dog, and he stops at the front of the counter. Dog immediately jumps up to say hello. And I told him, you can't have your dog on the counter. He pulls and this is the first dick move I knew dealing with this guy. He yanks on the dog's leash, makes the dog's head smack its head on the counter as it falls down. So I'm like, all right, I already don't like this guy in the first place. That's not a proper way to treat an animal.
Yes.
And he's just screaming at me how he wants his fucking food. And I'm just trying to figure out, did you order food? I wasn't here. He was telling me that I didn't give him a receipt. I was trying to explain to him that I didn't help him. And then one of my supervisors from the back overhears this conversation. She comes up. He starts yelling at her because when he got into the restaurant, he asked her a question. And he was blaming her for it. And she just lost it. And she just started yelling. He started yelling. Everyone's just frozen in the store, no one knows what to do. I'm trying to defuse the situation, but the thing that comes out of this, and the best part about this story, is the guy's in front of me and he's yelling at my face. I'm getting spit on my face and everything like that because he's just
Drunken screaming.
We
all know.
Spit is flying everywhere. I felt like it was bad, but his face is in my face, so I can't see except for only his face. And off to the side where my supervisor was yelling, all I hear from her is, your dog is eating our salad bar. As I peer to look around the guy, I see his husky has jumped up to our salad bar, which is adjacent from our counter, so it was not within our reach. And he was going to town on our croutons and our salad mix. And he was loving it. He pulls the dog down and tells us to go fuck off a few more times and stomps out. But the best thing was, just everyone's frozen in time, and all I remember now is just hearing, your dog
is in the salad bar.
He liked the croutons. He ate all of them.
Well, it's a dog.
What is not mentioned in that story is how I'm standing kind of where we make pizzas at, with the biggest smile on my face this whole time, because anything that happens in the store is hilarious, as long as it doesn't happen to me.
Right, none of it's a big deal. It's a freaking restaurant. It's not there's no life or death happening in the restaurant if we mess things up. But the best thing is what happens after he leaves.
So after he leaves his beer glass on the table he was sitting at.
I go home after this, but I was just done with it.
Tyler, I think I waited 10 minutes before I went and got his beer glass too, just because everyone in the store was laughing about what just happened, because it was so unusual and hilarious. And so I go to get his beer glass. I think I cleared another table and wiped that down. And sitting next to his beer glass is a crumpled up receipt.
With just a beer on it.
Yes, with just the purchase of a beer on it.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. So I immediately called Tyler and yelled, You did give him his receipt.
I don't know. I didn't get all the way home. I thought something else was happening. I was so sad. I'm like, why? Every time I leave on a day where something bad happens, I don't get all the way home before I get a phone call about something else. It was my Friday. I was sad. I just wanted to go home.
I
play
wasn't
some
there
Destiny.
for this. I just got to hear the great stories.
There's always something going on. But to segue off into something else, what else we got? Oh, Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is coming out here soon.
Right, when is that actually dropping? Do you know?
So they postponed it. I thought it was supposed to come out last week. It says it's coming out the 27th, so in 2 days from today. Same
It
day.
comes out the same day as Forza.
I know. Sucks for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was that?
That was a sad grunt.
Yes, indeed.
But I'm excited about that because a new area, more missions, volcanoes. Like, come on, what can be possibly?
I know. Sea of Thieves is great. It's great and terrible, but it's just great.
Like, when I first got that game, I complained a lot to you guys. I'm like, this does not feel like a completed game. They just, like, half-assed it,
And
pushed
it
it.
still doesn't feel like a completed game. It's just not got enough content in it. But in the end, like, their whole thing about, well, you make your own content, and the entire internet hates that, and it's a really dumb statement. But it's actually kind of true, because we end up sailing around for fun, and meeting other random people, talking to them, fighting with them, maybe sometimes allying with them, or whatever. We end up having a great time, 5 hours goes away, and we're like, wow, that was a lot of fun.
So most of the time, whenever I play with you guys,
You just blow the ship up. That's all you do.
Just keep the gunpowder away from you.
pretty much. I don't do it on purpose most of the time, too.
Do it like 80% of the time you mean to.
The last time we played, you drove a ship into me while I was holding a gunpowder barrel. That is not my fault.
That was pretty good. And then, so since I drove the ship into you, it pinched you between the ship and the land. You despawned, which left the gunpowder there against the ship. The ship hit the gunpowder. It blew up. We sank.
I blew up in the process somehow too, because just fuck me.
Well, there were like 12.
We all died.
I don't remember how I died.
We had like 12 gunpowder barrels strewn about the beach.
So we sunk previously. Our ship sunk somehow.
Okay, so that was my fault. Tyler happened to be swimming back to the shore with a gunpowder barrel. I thought it would be funny to shoot him. I did not think that it would set off a chain reaction, sinking our ship in the process.
That's the one thing I do like about Sea of Thieves is that the most shenanigans and like just the most randomest stuff can happen, and like with every on top of it free DLC. It's like we're not paying for any of this extra stuff. This is just adding on and making it better as it goes.
Right, which is why I'm okay with having paid $60 for the game.
Yeah.
It feels like it should have been a $40 game, if I'm honest. Even with free DLC, I feel like it should have been a $40 game.
Well, at this point, I'm starting to feel like it's like I've gotten my money's
But
worth.
it's definitely getting there.
Still working on that Pirate Legend. Also, I'm like at 35.
Oh, I know, me too. We're pretty much right around the same level.
You're at like what 5?
I think I'm at 15.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He gained levels really fast because he's doing our level missions.
Yeah.
True.
But the funny thing about the game is that a new update comes out, we beat it to death for like 2 weeks. And then
we
after
put it
that
away.
2 weeks is like, no more of that for a while. But
Exactly.
the constant updates is what keeps a game, the life continuing. Like Rainbow Six Siege.
Are words still hard, NATO?
Words are always hard. Rainbow Six Siege is like almost at 3 years now, I think, or it is at 3 years, and the constant addition of new operators seem to make it enjoyable, even though it's the same game that it was 3 years ago.
I've never played that game, so
Neither have
I.
I.
All I hear about is it's the esports and everyone's playing it and it's super fun, but I don't have the time to put into something like that. And also, I get very competitive in gaming, so like if I get into it, I know I'll just get sucked up into it.
Right, you are the esports type of person.
I prefer it to the Battle Royale type of game modes, because it gives you the same like anxiety and excitement.
Well, you only have one life, right?
Right, but that's round after round. So you probably, if you're watching someone finish out a round of Fortnite anyway, you wait the same amount or less time to get into the next round of Siege anyway. Because it's like a best 2 out of 3 in casual. So, the rounds are quick moving. The better you get at the game, the longer you stay alive.
all the gadgets.
All the gadgets are fun. It's fun to learn a new operator.
But it seems like a lot of companies are jumping on that, like battle royale, like one life kind of thing. Like, what's it called? PUBG went from preview only on Xbox. It's like full release now. Battlefield's doing it.
I don't know why it's
Call of
full
Duty's
release
doing
now,
it.
because it's still full of bugs and sad.
Oh yeah. Fortnite just started season 6 also, which was, like I was playing it every now and then. Something about a massive cube fell into the lake and now it's a big bounty pool. I don't know, but it's kind of crazy that it seems like such a simple thing. Like, it's Hunger Games basically, almost everyone for themselves.
Right, that's the first place I ever played that type of game, is Minecraft servers that were doing Hunger Games.
Basically, yeah. But it's kind of crazy how big this has become and everything like that. It's nothing
but
really
even
new.
still, also the whole, it's crazy how big the constant update model has become. That was the Minecraft model, and it spread to like every game now.
It's really when we talk a lot about what's bad about video games. Pre-orders. The internet is constantly complaining. It's kind of a bright spot in this world that we live in, that some companies will make games and keep improving them and not charge for improving them.
Yes.
Or you could be 343 where the game.
Yeah, charge like twice as much as the game just to keep playing the game.
Well, not even that. I'm talking about like when the Master Chief Collection dropped, and we were like the first few people to we waited in line for it, got it,
Yep.
and you couldn't even play together with your friend because it was so buggy and just I felt like such a rushed product.
Yeah, so I didn't even live here when the Master Chief Collection dropped. So I drove down to my friend Tyler's house to get the Master Chief Collection with him on the day it dropped.
You brought your Xbox.
I brought my Xbox with me and a TV, and we set it up in his living room. We were all going to play Halo all night long together and relive all the memories from our days in middle school and high school, mostly high school. And it took. We never got to play together that night.
Nope.
Because we never got the servers work together. We're like, well, it's the first day. Every single person is trying to do this right now. Oh, well. And then it keeps going on, days and days, where we can't get together, months can't get together. And
that's when I just put it up.
Right, and we just put it up, and I didn't play it from when it released up until pretty much very recently we started playing again.
When they had their massive update and they fixed the game.
Right, they fixed their server. They actually fixed their servers a while back, I remember. So you could play together, because we did try it again, and then got bored of it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought you were going to talk about Destiny and their model of, here, pay $60 for a game, here, pay $20 for an update, here, pay $20 for an update, here, pay $40 for an update, here, pay $20 for an update.
Also, if you don't pay for it, you're just left behind.
Right, you're just left behind. There's actually nothing you can do.
Yeah.
The whole game changes, and there's nothing you can do in the game without the update.
And now with this newest thing, they have an annual pass. Pay $40 and you'll get every 2 to 3 week updates and everything, that are not content updates, they're just a little extra here and there and everything to get you basically through. So you pay $40 for this Forsaken DLC, and if you want to pay an extra $40, so $80, which is more than what the base game was, you can get a little bit of extra all the way up until I think it's spring or September of next year, until their next DLC drops.
Yeah, it's bull. It's bull. It's just a bunch of bull.
Including with them having Eververse or whatever, with silver and everything, they're already making enough money, and I feel like they're just draining. Yeah, they're milking it, or they're just going to announce.
It's
Destiny
such a well-designed game too. It's so much fun that I keep coming back to it, even though it costs me an arm and a leg, which is a problem. Because, I'd like to be the person who doesn't fall for the stupid predatory techniques, but I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you don't play Destiny.
I don't play Destiny, but I do play NBA 2K, and they have similar business tactics.
Yeah.
Where...
Just EA.
Well, that's a different company.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, all
EA, Activision, they all like that.
Sports games are really not in a great state right now. It's very much...
I heard FIFA is super,
it's still,
they're making a lot of money off of it.
Yeah, each sports game nowadays has an ultimate team where you collect cards and you use those cards to play as those players on your team. So it's kind of like a fantasy. Oh, I can have this really good guy on all these really good guys on the same team. without like because you can do it in like the
custom
the
or
season mode, but you have to figure out nowadays games are so realistic that you have to deal with. Why are you giving me that look?
Because I just saw how long we've been running.
It's fine. Nowadays, games are so realistic that you actually have to deal with like finances, and so it's harder to get all the good players on your team. And so this fantasy mode gives people that way. You can play against people online, but the main way they make money is by you have to buy card packs similar to any other card game, and
So it becomes pay to win if you're playing online.
yeah,
against real
very
people.
very much so. And people have no problem paying to win.
Right, I know that's crazy to me. So I have played a few pay to win games, and I always just stop playing them real soon because I'm not willing to pay to win. I'm not willing to do that. It's where I cross. That's where I draw the line. Is pay to win. I will not pay to win. And microtransactions, just no. Screw you guys. Big transactions, though, I'm fine with apparently.
I mean, how much have we?
Well,
What?
Destiny is 60, 20, 20, and 40 so far, right? So that's $140
Yeah, at least.
so far.
So
I
far.
didn't buy the annual pass because screw those guys.
But you know you're gonna do it.
Am I? What do you get with it? Doesn't
You just
sound
get
like it's worth it.
occasional updates with the game with more exotics and more everything else to do and more missions.
See, that sounds like microtransaction to me. It might be like a whole year of microtransaction you buy all at once, but that sounds like a microtransaction. Whereas paying for a DLC is a DLC, and I'm not a big fan of having to pay for DLC, but microtransaction is where I draw the line.
Is that what grinds your gears?
It is.
It grinds your gears.
That and accidentally turning the starter again after the engine's already started. That grinds your gears a lot.
That was a literal grind your gear joke.
Yes, it was. I did it the other day for the first time in like 5 years.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm just gonna move on from that and pretend like it didn't happen.
Okay.
We watched the Death Stranding trailer right
Oh my
before we started recording this.
I still don't know what.
Now there's a gold-faced kitty cat attacking Amazon.
I'm not gonna buy this game. It's gonna have to come out before I buy it.
Yeah, it is.
It has Norman Reedus in it. That
I don't
makes
care.
Obviously, a
Well,
selling
it was
point.
supposed to be Silent Hill. It's not Silent Hill anymore now.
Right. I don't know what it is. He like raised the dead people from the ground to build a kitty cat from them or something, and now he's gonna get eaten, but he's carrying another person with no legs on his back or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But who was the voice actor of the bad guy? I can't remember.
Troy Baker.
So who is that?
Who's Troy Baker?
Yeah.
I'm gonna list off a bunch of people, and you're not gonna know who any of them are.
Okay. I'm ready for it.
He was. What's the old Joel in The Last of Us?
Oh, I know who that is.
Oh wow, never mind
I love The Last of Us.
Who else was he? No, you knowing that
That's all we needed.
took me off guard. He's similar to Nolan North in that he's in everything.
Okay. It's funny I haven't heard of him because I've heard of Nolan North.
Yeah.
It's really the only major voice actor I know.
Nolan North had that stretch of Uncharted.
Your computer died.
Yes, it did.
Oh, was that your laptop?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay. Nolan North had that stretch of Uncharted, Assassin's Creed.
He played a lot of characters.
He's played a lot. Are you looking at Troy Baker right now?
Yeah.
Culminating into Nolan Bot.
Any other ones we see? Oh, God, Nolan.
So, that was just oh my god, that was just anime. Oh, give me a second. I'm still scrolling down to games. Jesus.
He gets work.
He is a very busy person. Here's video games. I'm looking for just a game that you would recognize.
He was. You guys haven't played the fourth Uncharted, but he was in the fourth Uncharted.
Okay.
So Nolan North and Troy Baker talking to each other. Probably has happened a lot.
Probably. I would imagine the two biggest video game voice actors.
Final Fantasy 13, he was Snow.
I hated that bastard.
Oh, well. Let's see. God, keep on going.
He was so cocky. Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's just the writing. Doesn't mean it's the voice actor's fault.
I don't care if it's.
He
the voice
played
actor's
Robin
fault.
in Batman Arkham City.
It's funny. I still haven't played it.
Let's
I
see.
haven't installed my computer.
That's funny.
Still haven't played it.
Kai Lang in Mass Effect 3.
Wait, is that the ninja guy?
Yeah. He was James in the Silent Hill 2 HD. James Shutterland.
James. games.
I don't know.
I haven't played Silent Hill 2. Gosh. Last time I played it was on a PS2, so.
That's probably enough of Troy Baker's
career.
I'm only in 2013, okay, and I'm still scrolling.
He gets
Jeez.
work. I think
He is very
The under-
good.
the understatement-
The idea, though.
the understatement of this podcast so far is that Troy Baker gets work.
The other trailer we watched was Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's
Odyssey.
Creed is coming out. Yeah. So that,
Sparta!
yeah, apparently just we're playing 300 the game, but Assassin's Creed.
Tour of Greece.
That's pretty much per the course with
Assassin's Creed.
Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed.
Well, I feel like just if you play Assassin's Creed, you're just getting a tour of that country. Like
It's
when it was
true.
Assassin's Creed 2, I'm like, this is a tour of
Italy.
Italy,
Yay.
yay! And then the other one was with Masyaf, and the first one was the Middle East. Like you didn't like Kingdom, or not? God damn. Assassin's Creed 3.
Kingdom Goddamn. No, I didn't like Kingdom Goddamn.
Assassin's Creed 3. Like you weren't a big fan of it, but it was the Civil War, and
It was-
not the Civil
it
War.
was
It was
not
like
the Civil War.
the American
It was
Revolution.
The Revolution, right. Which, okay, I'm okay with the Revolution, but the game was bad. The storyline was bad.
I mean,
you got to see a couple super important moments in American history, though. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
It was, but I just... I
Boston
did not...
Massacre, Boston Tea Party,
Boston.
Boston Benjamin Franklin running around. Was he in that?
Yeah, it was.
But I feel like that point, that's when the Assassin's Creed franchise started just kind of teeter-tottering for me. 'Cause,
Well, that's when they started pushing it out yearly.
yeah, I got burnt out from that. But like, I remember there was a DLC of what happened if like George Washington became the king of the Americans, and they did a what if DLC, which is that where you
That's
just
weird.
like he's
I didn't even hear about that.
yeah, it's like a what if
That-
kind
it
of
was like-
scenario.
The tyranny of King Washington or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and then basically you go and you turn, like, he becomes crazy like George Washington does and becomes just a king, and then you're responsible for just killing him because he's veered off the righteous path kind of thing. They started dabbling with that, and then Assassin's Creed 4 was ships, and more ships. The Caribbean and ships and more ships.
So,
I loved it.
I played
love
the first
ships.
game. The first game was amazing. And then I immediately played this. I bought the collection of the Ezio trilogy.
Okay.
And so I played the second game. I played Brotherhood, started getting tired of it. Played Revelations, was really tired of it.
Revelations was rough as a fresh game. I couldn't imagine what it was after 2 in Brotherhood.
I liked how they wrapped up the story.
It was
of
good.
Ezio.
The story was good. I just got very tired of doing the same thing for that many games. Because really, Brotherhood and Revelations was the same game as 2, just with a different story.
Yeah, for the
Like,
most
they
part.
just reskinned the HUD and called it good. Wrote a new story. And then Assassin's Creed 3 came out probably a year or two after I had played it. I'm not sure exactly how long it was. But there was a break for me. So I was excited for Assassin's Creed again. I was excited for a new thing that wasn't Ezio. And then the third one just didn't live up to my expectations. It just fell flat on its face for me. And then I just haven't played one since. I haven't played any of the Assassin's Creed since.
So I got through 3, and then I got through 4. And Unity is where it really fell apart for me.
So I didn't buy Unity. I got the Xbox edition where it basically came in like pre-packaged with it and everything like that. I'm like, okay, cool. And I tried it. I burnt out from it. And then like I didn't touch it for like 2 years. And then like finally I'm just like, you know what? I sucked it up. I did it. I enjoyed the French the French Revolution, but like after that I just stopped playing because I'm like, I'm done. I'm burnt out from this. Like the storyline was just all over the place, not like their modern time, like you're an Abstergo employee now. Like
yeah,
the whole,
why did they
whole
kill off
story.
Desmond? Because that was like the storyline that connected everything.
They killed him
Like,
off and didn't like continue the storyline.
They just kind of threw it out the
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's over.
Like Desmond's
Nothing to replace
storyline.
it.
When I played the first game, Desmond's storyline annoyed me. I was much happier in these in the Middle East. I was much happier there than in Desmond's storyline. But then the second game came around, and I started caring about Desmond's storyline, and they developed it through the Ezio trilogy, and I cared about Desmond, and I cared about that storyline too. And then they just threw it away. Like it didn't
Only
matter.
for him to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the.
No, he
that's-
died.
Well, that's the third Assassin's Creed, right? That's when it happened. It was like
he dies in the third one.
like the end of time was coming, and Deathsman was either like, well, the whole world can die, or I sacrifice myself and everything is fine now, and that's what it did. And
Right.
then now all of a sudden you're just an Abstergo employee that like kind of like breaks free or something like that. I don't know. It's weird. I don't understand. Maybe I'm wrong.
I've had a long enough break because I played the third game right about when it came out, a little bit afterwards. I think I've had a long enough break. I think I might get the next Assassin's Creed.
I mean, well, what, Odyssey? Are we
Yes,
talking?
Odyssey.
Okay, so
Because I actually have Black Flag and I haven't played it, and I don't want to.
yeah, so basically like Odyssey and then the Egyptian one. I can't remember which one that was called.
That
Origins.
Origins, yes. Like that's when they started to seem like that they stopped doing yearly stuff. It looks like they revamped everything and they're trying a new direction, and that's why I wanted to like. And it's fucking Egypt. It's fucking Greece. It looks pretty cool actually.
Yeah,
but it
Greece
looks
does actually look pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
think it's gonna have like kind of a big RPG
That's what
style
I've
to
heard.
it. Yeah.
That's what I've heard. Although I haven't looked too much into it. But I'll be excited to learn a new game. Essentially. It's been a while.
Yeah, true.
Since I've had basically a new take on a franchise.
But I'm pretty sure we talked everyone's ear off at this
I was
point.
gonna say, speaking of been a while, this podcast has been a while, and
Yeah.
it's been fun.
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
So thanks for watching, guys.
See you later, suckbags.
Oh, bye. NATO here. That was a fun podcast, wasn't it? If you want to keep having fun with us, follow us on Twitter at In a Slice Podcast. We can also be found on Facebook at In a Slice Official and YouTube at In a Slice. Also, our podcasts are posted to SoundCloud at In a Slice, and look for us on iTunes.
Thank you to Kevin Macleod for providing Dance Monster for our intro and outro music. He can be found on his website at www.incompetech.com. Thanks for watching.
It's not watching, it's listening.